Corpse Bride is based on an old story that is much, much darker than the movie makes it out to be. You mean Creepy Man Burton actually made something more lighthearted than the original story? Exactly, and more. And I'm going to take a lot of care in telling you this darker Corpse Bride origin story, so be careful yourself if you're following me. As I go over this Jewish folktale, you'll certainly see how much of it was reanimated in the Corpse Bride story. And to that end, I'll be showing scenes from the movie that follow the original story as we get to them. But know that this story would not take place in a church when we get there though. We start in a dark forest on a full moon night outside of the city. 3 buddies are out walking together because the next day is Reuben, the eldest among them's, wedding. How exciting! Both he and his bride are from very well-respected and well-off families, just like the families in Corpse Bride are obsessed with being associated with. Anyway, this trio probably has the nervous jitters, Reuben especially, making them oddly daring and full of bravado. They venture into the darkest part of the forest, which, thanks to that full moon, is not so dark, and are positively drunk on life. That's when they see it. While resting near the river, they spy something the size of a finger sticking up out of the earth. Assuming it's just a root, they investigate, only to find out that it is actually a finger. Now, in the movie, Victor, in a fit of love and desire to perfect his vows, used the gnarly tree-looking finger as a stand-in for his betrothed. However, this folktale gets dark. And this story makes a point to point out that these friends ordinarily would have felt pity for someone with so shallow a grave. And it is a shallow grave for a finger to be above the soil like that. They would have known what that meant, and we'll get there too in a bit. They would have shown some reverence and decorum, but remember they are in a nervous, joking mood with the imminent wedding. So they tease about who will put a ring on it, and because Reuben is the oldest, he jocularly says the legally binding wedding vow, "You are betrothed to me," 3 times with his 2 friends as witnesses, and slips his own ring on the corpse finger, which begins to twitch and then reach and then claw the earth with a rumble. The men are too stunned to move. The corpse appears in all of her tattered glory, and I imagine she's truly tattered, not selectively modeled and worm-eaten pretty like Emily. Wearing a shredded shroud, she hovers above her shallow grave, looks at Reuben dead in the eyes and shrieks, "My husband!" with her arms outstretched. The friends find their legs and start booking it home through the dark forest, which is well and truly dark now because the moon has ominously disappeared behind a cloud. The Corpse Bride continues her pursuit, shrieking and wailing all the while. But the trio make it home and bolt the door firmly while they tend to their many, many branch wounds. And not only are they afraid, but they are ashamed of how they joked about such a serious matter. But they agree to keep the secret between them because there's a wedding to attend after all. Everyone who is anyone is in attendance the next day, including the Corpse Bride, screeching at the very back. This clears every living body out faster than you can say hopscotch, except for the very calm and collected rabbi. It seems they kept him in the movie in a way, and a very, very terrified Reuben. The rabbi gets down to the business of sorting this out. "Why is it that you have left your final resting place and returned to the living?" The corpse replies asking, "What blemish does the bridegroom find in me that he should want to wed another? For cannot all the world see that he is wed to me?" And just like in Corpse Bride, she flashes the ring with Reuben's initials carved on it. He bravely hides behind the rabbi, who asks him for every single detail about what the heck went on in the forest last night. He confirms that the wedding vow was said 3 times in the presence of 2 witnesses, so legally it's legal. Reuben passes out. Days go by. Everyone is talking about how can a man marry a corpse? I get Major Town Crier vibes from this chatter. The rabbi, meanwhile, has been looking for any precedent to this very odd case, and I'm sure Reuben's parents breathing down his neck didn't help his concentration much. Anyway, there's to be a court hearing to annul the marriage, as it was made in jest. And here's the thing, the Corpse Bride shows up for the court date like it's any other day. I wonder where she stayed in town. Not the point, not the story, sorry. She is asked if she will release her claim on Reuben, for she is determined to consummate the marriage. Not just be married, but do the do. It's her unfinished business after all. For while she had lived, she had never married and thus had been denied her hour of joy, and she was determined to receive after death, which she had been denied in life. Unlike in Corpse Bride, where the marriage is invalid because death had already parted Victor and Emily, and only one person said their vows, this case is more complex. It's actually threefold. In this tale, it's ruled that, quote, "the dead have no claim over the living," quote. which is different, but also the marriage proposal was found to be legitimate. The man with the ring said the vow 3 times in the presence of 2 witnesses. Legally, this is binding, except for one tiny little detail, a pre-existing contract, this one between the living bride and groom's parents. Both parental parties confirmed that this contract was, in fact, in existence before their children were born. So it predates the contract that the man jokingly made with the finger. Legally, Reuben couldn't make a new contract that would contradict an older one. And finally, the vow was made without intention. Which, yes, it was, but that's gotta be a tough one to prove. So anyway, this life and death marriage is null and void. Reuben passes out again. The corpse bride shrieks from the deepest place of sorrow, and everyone feels for her, because both before and after death, her business is still unfinished. She does not turn into peaceful butterflies like Emily, but rather collapses back onto the ground, a true corpse once more. But the people do right by her. They bury her in a proper grave, deep enough so that this marital mishap can't happen again. Then Reuben and his original bride are married, and all ends as well as it can. Like Corpse Bride, this older story has unfinished business of the dead, a limbo holding place, a calm, detail-oriented and contract law authority, and a groom who looks like he's about to and does pass out nearly the whole time. There is, however, no happily ever after for this Corpse Bride, and that's not the only thing that makes it darker. Why is it darker, aside from the not happy ending for her? In Corpse Bride, Barkus is a serial killer that offs women for their fortunes. This is not great at all, but it gets worse, because in The Finger, context matters. The reason this Jewish corpse bride was killed was not uncommon and very tragic. She was killed because of who she was, likely by a pogrom, an organized violent mob whose aim to wipe out another ethnic or religious group. Specifically in Russia, these were aimed at Jewish communities. They targeted property, people, and caused mass suffering. And because of the messed up goal of this mob, they wanted to prevent more babies of the target group from being born, hence attacking a young woman before her hour of joy and having children. It's sick, and it makes sense why this corpse bride would linger with her unfinished business top of mind. Such a brutal and traumatic death at what should have been an exciting juncture in life. This was the Jewish folktale, The Finger, and you'll certainly see how much of it was given a kinda different life in Corpse Bride. It's very interesting to see how directly this story influenced the movie, from the grim skittish character to the literal finger proposal scene and titular corpse bride. But you'll notice that not only was the story changed to be a more traditional happily ever after fairy tale for everybody except the bad guy, but it also took away the cultural roots of this Jewish story. The movie is heavily coded Christian, with the church setting, officiant, etc. This kind of absolutely steamrolls over the original story, and it's sadly ironic because this erasure is how the original corpse bride in The Finger was killed too, by people who only wanted their stories to continue before she could continue hers. I had wondered if Corpse Bride's Ukrainian haunting spell was a nod to the location for this older story, but came up null and void, like Reuben's first wedding to the corpse. It's easy to see how Corpse Bride was inspired by this older story. I could not find it credited or mentioned in the film's credits at all, but it is mentioned as a source by Burton himself at another time. Burton kept a majority of the original folktale story, latching mostly onto the idea of a creepy corpse bride, but erased nearly all of the context and culture of the original tale and made it into a more spooky Western fairy tale. This tale was dark, so if you need some lighthearted fun, check out Priorities, a fast and funny game where you find out just how much or how little you know about your friends and family. Rank 5 random items from love to loathe. Kittens always win, and spice is nice. But I'm so sorry, Licorice, it's nothing personal. Now, see if your friends can work together to predict your list. But there's no subterfuge. It is actually everybody working together against the game to win points and cards to spell out priorities before the game can. It's the perfect whimsical way to test the depths of friendships, or to get to know a special someone even better. This easy-to-learn cooperative game is perfect for family gatherings or adult game nights. Just pick it up and play. And now Priorities is available at your nearest Target store, or by using the link below. Check out the fun party game of absurd choices to play with friends and family. Thank you to Priorities for sponsoring this video. But what part of the original tale stuck out to you the most? It's pretty dark and morbid, but I really latched onto the detail-oriented contract laws and such. And of course, the poor groom just passing out like all the time. Oh, buddy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you would like to see some more creepy origins and tales. Thanks for watching this darker origin story of the Corpse Bride. Do subscribe so you won't miss the next video bubbling in the cauldron right now. Goodbye.